Howdy folks, hope you're enjoying your weekend, and welcome back to Casual Saturday with Tom Clancy's The Division. This is going to be a highly edited version of a survival run that I played in The Division that became the stuff of legends roughly around about 2 weeks ago. I say highly edited because the whole thing lasted well over an hour. So, what's survival in The Division? Why should you care? Well, one of the problems with PvP, at least, in The Division, is that if somebody has better gear than you, it doesn't matter how good you are, they're going to beat you. In survival mode, everybody starts off with nothing. You don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. It's purely what you can scavenge, loot, and make for yourself, and that includes the various different skills that you take out into the streets of Manhattan. Everybody starts off in survival with a localized infection that they sustained in the helicopter crash that dumped them into the middle of Manhattan in the first place. You are going to die unless you can get yourself to the extraction point and get yourself some professional medical attention. Of course, it's never going to be quite as simple as that. Aside from the infection that is eventually going to kill you, you have no food, you have no water, the clothing that you're wearing consists of a ripped up hazmat suit, and the temperatures outside are plunging as low as minus 33 degrees. Manhattan is in the grip of the worst blizzard it's seen in 30 years. The streets are full of looters and various different gang members. All you're armed with is a crappy little sidearm. The extraction point is located in the middle of the dark zone, and you don't have a virus filter. You also don't have a flare gun to signal for extraction. And the dark zone, of course, is chock full of elites and veterans. So, good luck with that. Just about the only thing going in my favour is that I'm playing survival in PvE mode, not PvP mode, because I'm not bloody mad. Although, having said that, everybody else is starting off in the same piss poor condition as me, so it would be an even playing field, except for the fact that I'm hilariously bad at PvP. I've managed to find myself a fuel drum with a fire burning, so I've managed to warm up a little. I'm not immediately going to die from hypothermia. However, you can see that the temperatures are at minus 32 degrees, and the tiny little piece of warm weather clothing I managed to make in the safe house is only going to protect me from temperatures as low as minus 2 degrees. So I can't stay outside in these temperatures for very long at all. I'm going to have to scavenge some warmer clothing as soon as possible. I've managed to find myself a can of soda. Now, this has fixed my thirst, at least temporarily. Factors like thirst and hunger are far more important in survival than they are in the regular Division gameplay. When you're thirsty, it reduces the range at which you're going to spot items that can be looted and scavenged. If your thirst is satisfied, the game will highlight lootable items for you when you might otherwise miss them. If you're thirsty, it won't. Hunger is also a very important factor. Although you're not going to die of hunger, what hunger does is it reduces the rate at which your health recovers if you've taken damage. In fact, if you're hungry enough, you won't recover any health after taking damage at all. Now, while it's possible to cooperate with other players in PvE mode, and you can see in the message at the bottom there, one player has just been downed and then revived by another. That other player has just blown his very precious medkit in order to do that. It's entirely possible that those two are working as part of a group, and it is definitely recommended that if you're going to play PvE survival, you do it as part of a group. You can pool your resources and help each other out in exactly that way. Some painkillers, great. My infection was worsening. I've got 57 minutes to live, so we're going to use those painkillers to stabilise my condition. However, so far I've been playing survival alone. What can I say? I like a challenge. I think what you mean to say, Jingles, is you just don't have any friends. Yeah, that's also true. Anyway, moving on swiftly. So I've managed to scavenge a bunch of weapon parts and tools. Now, I can't make the virus filter yet, so I still can't go into the the dark zone. But I can make a better weapon, so I'm going to go for the classic RPK, because I do like my machine guns, and it's way better than the crappy pistol I'm currently armed with. So, on with that, my chances of dying the second I run into a pair of looters on the streets has just decreased dramatically. Somebody, however, has just been killed by a non-player character. So, 13 agents remaining. Now, I've just picked up some fabrics, so let's see if I can make myself something a little bit warmer than the ripped up hazmat suit that I'm currently wearing. And we'll go for the mesh cap to keep my head covered, It's not very good, but it's better than nothing, which is what my head's currently covered with. So I still can't survive in the outside temperatures indefinitely, but I have a little bit more thermal clothing, which means I can survive out there for just a little bit longer, which gives me a bigger window of opportunity to find some useful stuff. And that's when I catch a lucky break. Well, I don't actually catch a lucky break. I'm looking for an apartment building on purpose, because people live in apartment buildings and people tend to have clothing. Lovely puff jacket. Thermal rating of 14. That's fantastic news. And a neck warmer with a thermal rating of 16. This is great stuff. Soda can? Fine. I'm not actually thirsty at the moment, so we'll hold on to it. Is there some food in the fridge? No, there's some more soda. Okay, well, we'll take it all. You can see with the neck warmer and the jacket equipped, I can now withstand temperatures of up to -9 degrees. Of course, it's -26. So I can't stay out here forever, but I can stay out here longer than when I could only withstand temperatures of -2. I found myself another apartment building, and since I'm not thirsty, there we go. All kinds of loot popping up, highlighted by the UI. Yep. Question is, how do I get to them? Hold on. There's a backpack here with an energy bar. Okay, that's the first piece of food I've looted. What do we have in here? An EMP grenade. Good stuff. And a hiking jacket with a thermal rating of 20. That's even better than the purple puffy jacket I was wearing, so we're going to equip that instantly. More fabric. And some electronics. Okay, well, that was a pretty good haul. But I'm not quite done with looting this apartment, because I did see more stuff. What do we have upstairs? A flashbang grenade. And this container looks pretty good. Yes. Gloves that are going to boost my firearms stat and also provide additional armour. And there's plenty more. More fabric. And there's another chest over here with some electronics. And there's another chest over here with some canned food. And are we done yet? Nope. More clothing? Yep. Sneakers, thermal rating of 4. Not particularly good, but better than what I'm currently wearing. Is that everything in this apartment? This has been a real goldmine. Yep, been in here, looted all of that. Right. I'm feeling a little more confident now. Let's get back out into the streets. And it's more or less then when I bump into my first actual piece of resistance, a pair of looters, armed with baseball bats. No match for the RPK, and one of them's dropped some rare gear. So we're going to equip that. Body armour. Always nice. Oh, hold on. More food. And the second looter dropped some ammunition. So, with all my loot bagged up, it's back to the nearest safe house to see what I can craft. And I really, really want some kind of healing skill, like the support station skill, for example. Now you can see I have enough medkits for it, but I don't have enough tools, and I don't have enough electronics. But I do have enough lower quality electronics to be able to merge them and create a higher quality electronics. Same with the tools. So now I should be able to go back to my technology and make myself the support station skill. And there it is. Right, now we're cooking. And I even have one medkit spare. What clothing can I make? I've looted plenty of fabrics. I don't actually have any thermal pants at the moment, so we'll go for those. And it's also worth remembering that when you craft yourself some gear upgrades at the crafting bench, go ahead and recycle all of the stuff that that gear has replaced, because you can use those resources to make even better stuff. Shortly afterwards, a couple of random encounters with various different looters and gang members sees me wearing mostly blue quality gear, although my weapon, the RPK, is still only green quality. And that's when I run into my first real spot of bother. I can hear something going on down there. Yep, cleaners. And there's a veteran. There's 2 veterans. There's 3 veterans. Ah, what the hell. You only live once. Maybe they'll drop some good loot. Another agent's just died. Nailed one of the veterans. Trying to snipe that guy's fuel tank. And it's not quite working. I figure, yeah, 3 veterans. I can handle this. I'm in good cover. I've got high ground. Come on. He's nicely suppressed. It's getting kind of cold though. I can withstand temperatures of -13 and it's -21 out here. Nice, that one's blundered right into the tear gas. That's going to make him an easy kill. Come on, reload before he recovers. Got him. And he's dropped some purple gear. Oh, even better. Yes, there was a tool chest lying there, but there's another veteran down there somewhere that I need to take care of. There he is. And I can go and pick up my fat loot. So, we're going to get into some cover. And have some of this. Yeah, you like that, don't you, bitch? And that's when I start taking fire from the flank. I think, hey, what? There was a... Oh my god, there's more than 3 of them. I'm nearly dead. Very, very quickly. Deploy the support station skill. I still also have 1 medkit, but I want to keep a hold of the medkit. I can reuse the support station. I can't reuse the medkits. And another agent has just been killed. I've got this guy on the run, however. Where did his friends go? Oh, crap, there's one. These guys are between me and my loot. 1 down. I've lost track of how many are left. Back on full health. They're tossing incendiary grenades. There's the grenadier. Try and hit him while he's throwing. He might fumble it and drop it at his feet. Where did the rest of them go? There was more than just that guy. Still, this is the one I can see. So, reload. Pick up the gear. Get to the next spot of cover. Pick up the gear. Oh shit, he's getting a bit close. And I'm taking fire from the flank again, and I'm nearly dead. Oh crap, there's one right there, and he's about to throw a grenade. Yep, time for me to be somewhere else. I was forced to blow my medkit there. I couldn't really deploy the healing station at that position because they had clear line of fire to me. Also, it's only just come off cooldown. And there's another one coming in. Hang on, he looks at... Oh crap, he's an elite. And that's when I realise I haven't been paying attention to the temperature. And I am actually now freezing to death. I am about to die. Oh shit. I need to find some place warm. And I'm not talking about flamethrowers and incendiary grenades here. I'm going to deploy the healing station. Try to recover some health and give me... Hang on a second, is that an oil drum? It is, yes! Get the flare in there, thank God for that. Whoa, that was a lot closer than I like. There's still plenty of loot down there, though. Can I take the elite? Because I'm going to have to kill him to loot all of that lovely, lovely purple gear that got dropped. Ah, what the hell, you only live once. Pretty sure he's armed with a flamethrower, so providing I can keep my... Oh crap, he's thrown a grenade, but it's missed. Providing I can keep my distance, maybe I can do this. Yeah, let's not get closer to him. There was some cover there, but screw it, there's cover up here. I'm going to stay on the high ground. Where is he? Here he is. Trying to hit his fuel tanks. Set the guy on fire. His armour's nearly gone. Yes, there's a fuel tank fire. Get the gun reloaded. That's going to hurt him. That hurt him a lot. Come on. Yes, we got him. Oh well, worth the risk. Despite the fact that I nearly died because I wasn't watching the temperature. But all kinds of Gucci loot. What else is down here? I have never been this well equipped in a survival mode game. Ever. I'm usually lucky to find myself with blue and even more thermal clothing. All kinds of enhanced weapons. Oh, fantastic. This was totally worth the risk. Let's see what we got. But let's not stand in the middle of the freezing blizzard while we're doing it. I learned that lesson the first time. So, next to the fire, let's have a look at the weapons. Ooh, nice. G36 enhanced. We're going to equip that and the custom M44. So there's a sniper rifle and an assault rifle. We got a purple quality mask and a backpack. Oh yes. Right, well. Oh, and another agent has just bit the dust. Hang on, it's getting cold around here again. Let's use another flare. And remember, while I still don't have the materials required to make that virus filter so I can get into the dark zone, which is right next to where I am, with all of the gear upgrades that I've just managed to loot, I can now salvage the gear that I was wearing, and hopefully that will provide enough resources for me to make that virus filter and for me to actually get myself into the dark zone. And I've never been this well equipped going into the dark zone in a game of survival before, so I'm feeling pretty good about my chances. So, having checked the map, I head to the location of the nearest safe house and crafting bench en route to the dark zone, and wouldn't you know it, I actually have enough resources to make the basic virus filter anyway. Hell, I actually have enough resources to make an advanced virus filter, but I don't need an advanced virus filter unless I plan on searching through any of the heavily infected areas within the dark zone, and I don't really plan on doing that. I'll be happy just to get in there, extract, get out, and complete survival. Speaking of which, it's time to get my ass in gear and actually get into that dark zone. I have been pretty unlucky when it comes to scavenging painkillers and antibiotics, so my infection is beginning to get out of control. I don't really have a huge amount of time left to live. I do, however, definitely have the gear now and the skills to have a good stab at surviving the dark zone and getting to the extraction point. What I don't have, however, is the signal gun, the flare gun used to actually signal for extraction. I still haven't found the materials required to manufacture that. Now, you don't actually have to have a flare gun to successfully extract. Providing somebody signals for the extraction chopper, the chopper has 4 seats, so up to 4 agents can extract, even if only one of you has the flare gun to signal for the extraction chopper in the first place. And this is why it's a good idea to queue for survival as a group with friends. You can pool your resources. Remember, only one of you has to actually make the flare gun. But, as we've already established, I don't actually have any friends, so I'm playing solo, and I'm going to have to make myself a flare gun. But that's no bad thing, because making the flare gun is worth a huge amount of score in survival, even if you don't actually need it. Just about the only real downside to playing survival in a group is that as soon as you signal for extraction, for every person at the extraction point, one hunter gets spawned. What's a hunter, Jingles? A hunter is a bloody nightmare. It's an elite NPC with a range of skills that are, quite frankly, terrifying. He has a heal on a very, very short cooldown. I've never actually seen a hunter until, well, this survival playthrough. He's also very, very good at dodging grenades. He's got the same dodge roll that players get. He's a bloody nightmare. And one of them is spawned for every player at the extraction point. I, of course, was blissfully ignorant of this fact on this particular playthrough. Like I said, I'd never even heard of the hunter before, and it wasn't until after this particular playthrough that I went ahead and looked it up and found out exactly what it was that had happened. Now, I've been here in survival before. This is the antiviral cache, and it's usually crawling with elites and veterans. In fact, up until now, this is as far as I've ever gotten in survival, but I've had another stroke of luck. Somebody must have just been here and cleared it out, so I just ran up to the antivirals and picked them up. So that was a spot of luck. Now, of course, and you don't have to collect the antivirals, it just massively boosts your score at the end of the survival game. Now I need to find a safe house somewhere within the dark zone and make myself that flare gun. And hello, there's a couple of elites down there. I'm going to use the M44. I don't think I've actually used it yet. This is the sniper rifle that I picked up earlier. And it's not bad. I mean, it doesn't have the knockout punch of an M700. But it's a nice fast rate of fire. And, oh yes. Oh crap. Oh shit, they've all just respawned. Right. I'm getting out of here. At the end of the day, I am not here to get into fights with elites and veterans that I don't need to fight. I'm here to get out of the dark zone, to extract, to actually complete survival for the first time. And I'm well on the way to doing it. I just need to find a dark zone safe house with a crafting bench, make my flare gun, and get the hell out of here. So, I plot a course to the nearest dark zone safe house. There it is. Managed to get there without any further incidents. Once I get inside, That's when I get a nasty shock. I am now suffering from severe sepsis. My inability to scavenge any painkillers or antibiotics is really biting me in the arse here. I'm going to die soon. Still, I managed to scavenge some Division tech, so now I can at least make that flare gun. Now, all I have to do is find the nearest extraction point, signal for extraction, stay alive for the length of time it's going to take the chopper to get there, get on board that chopper, get out and complete survival solo for the first time ever. And I definitely have a good fighting chance of doing this. But I can help my chances even further by using all of the resources that I've scavenged and obtained from salvaging obsolete equipment to make some high-end weapon mods to give me an even better fighting chance of surviving the time I have to spend waiting at the extraction point for the chopper to arrive. The thing is, I can't afford to hang around tinkering with my gear forever because I'm dying of septic shock. I have around about 12 minutes to live, and that's putting a hard cap on the amount of time that I can afford to spend dicking around without getting to that extraction point. Okay, well, they're not elites at least. They're not veterans. I was thinking about going around them, but it's probably going to be quicker for me to just go through them. There's a lot of them, though. Ah, screw it. I've dealt with worse than them. I have 12 minutes to live. Oh crap, they're getting close. I've got riot shields, so I have to take short aimed bursts at their heads. Alright, they're down. They've dropped some good stuff. It's a sealed cache. The loot that you pick up in the dark zone is contaminated, so it goes into a biohazard bag. You can see they're strapped to my fanny pack. Once you successfully extract, and you have to successfully extract in order to claim the loot that you get from the dark zone, it gets decontaminated and placed into your stash back at the base of operations. But you first have to extract, and that's the extraction point up ahead. I have 11 minutes and 40 seconds to live. This is going to be cutting it quite close. Completely out of antibiotics and painkillers, so it literally is a case of extract or die. And there it is. I can now call in for extraction. Here goes. This now informs everybody playing survival, those who are still alive at this point, that there's an extraction chopper coming, and they get a marker placed on their mini-map telling them exactly where. So anybody else in the dark zone who has not yet made themselves a flare gun can hijack themselves a lift on my chopper. And why am I being jammed? Oh my god, there's a bad guy. No, need to get into cover. This, boys and girls, this is the hunter. I didn't know it at the time. I just thought, oh, it's an elite. Well, I wasn't expecting to be able to extract. Ow, he throws grenades. This is not good. Deploy a healing station. I wasn't expecting to be able to extract unopposed, but look, he's healing. Stop healing! That's not fair. This is what the hunter does. He's an utter bastard. Now remember, one hunter spawns for every player at the extraction point. And he is an absolute nightmare. I mean, I'm sitting here right next to my support station, but this guy's doing a lot of damage. I try to hit him with a grenade, and this guy dodges grenades, but I've knocked his armor down. Wait, he's healing up again. This isn't fair. Okay, I've stripped his armor, so normally at this point, any damage that you... Geez, he nearly killed me. My life expectancy is just under 10 minutes. I've got about a minute and a half to wait before this chopper arrives. But I cannot board the chopper with a hunter at the extraction point. I have to kill him. And that's going to be easier said than done. I'm going to use one of my 2 precious medkits. Where's he gone? There he is. And he's deploying a turret. No wonder I'm taking so much damage. He's not just him shooting at me, the turret is firing at me as well. Here he is. In the open. And... no, he's thrown a grenade. Crap. I'm bleeding. This is not good. This is not good. I'm not sure how long I have to wait. There he is. Ah, caught me on the reload. Support station is almost... it is back up. Jingles, deploy the support station. There we go. Get him. He's in the open. His armor's gone. Oh, bollocks. Get into cover. He's blind firing. Jingles, get into cover. That'll do. And... oh, nearly got him. Come on, reload. And we got him. Yes! Fantastic. Right. Grab his stuff and get to that extraction point. The chopper is almost here. 18 seconds. Come on. 15 seconds. I've almost done it. Wait, the sports station's still up. Let's get some health back. Come on, come on. I'm this close. There's the chopper. The chopper is here. 5 seconds. I've done it. And bingo. Wait, grenade? What grenade? Who shoot? No, I'm burning. Oh, this isn't good. Why am I'm downed. Oh no. No, there's another player in this. You utter bastard. I used one of my medkits to revive myself. That's my last medkit. There are now more hunters. I had it. I was there. The chopper had arrived. I was about to get out. And then other players turned up because they saw. They get a system-wide message that somebody has signaled for extraction. Obviously they hadn't crafted their own flare guns. So they all swarmed my extraction point, and just when I was about to get out and complete survival solo for the first time ever, they spawned multiple new hunters, and you cannot extract when there are hunters in the extraction point. And now I'm down again, and I don't have another medkit, and none of these guys are going to waste one of their medkits on me. And there are now so many hunters in this extraction point, none of us are going to make it out. These guys have basically screwed it for everyone. I was so close. Well, I wasn't close. I was there. I'd done it. But you can always rely on other players to screw you over, even when they aren't actually trying to screw you over. So I got well and truly shafted there. Again. But you don't go away empty-handed when you play survival. You get scored on how well you did. I completed every single objective other than actually successfully extracting. Even though I had successfully extracted. The chopper was there, damn it. I was that close. Anyway, so how did I do? Well, it shouldn't come as any great surprise that it's a personal best score of 4,865 in survival mode. And the only way I could do better than that was to actually get a seat on the chopper. That was the only thing that I had left to do. Still, now I know at least what to expect next time. There are going to be players who have managed to survive and make it to the Dark Zone who have not yet crafted their own flare gun, and they are going to be lurking around, waiting for somebody else to start the extraction process so they can gatecrash your party and bring all of their hunters with them. So, at least I know what to expect in future. Wasn't much consolation at the time, I can truthfully tell you. I was heartbroken. Wouldn't be too strong a word to use. Still, you don't go away empty-handed. Let's see what we won. So, I've got a sealed weapon cache, and high-end M1A and a pistol. The sealed gear cache has striker's harness, spec ops armor, and the survival cache contains a whole bunch of Gucci kit. So, yeah. And a bunch of Phoenix credits as well, so it's all going to come in handy. My hands were shaking at the end of this survival session, I can tell you that for nothing. It's the most fun I've had playing a game in months. I can highly recommend trying out survival mode in The Division. But I can also recommend playing with friends if you have them. At least then you know exactly more or less how many of those hunters are going to get spawned when you do get to signal for extraction, if you make it that far. That's it for today, folks. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you next time.